My former name is Carlos Brooking. My father's from Te Araroa up the east coast. And my mother's from the Cook Islands, but she was born and raised in Porirua, Wellington. Myself, I was raised all over the North Island, shifting around as a young kid. And religiously, when I was young, I attended church with my mother for about, a few years there, when I was about 7, 8, 9. And at the age of 12, I shifted to live with my father up the east coast. Done my intermediate up there. Then I sent to boarding school, a Christian boarding school out here in Hawke's Bay, Te College, when I was third form, and attended Te College till I was sixth form. I got kicked out, and my father was living in Flaxmere and Hastings at that time, so I went straight into Flaxmere. And we grew up pretty poor, and I think my mother just took us to church because she wanted us to have a different chance in life, because I think she knew we were headed for drugs and alcohol and all this stuff, because just the life we had. I used to run away and hang out with my big cousins and steal stuff and drink alcohol. When I was about 8, 9. Started at a pretty early age. But I used to go to church with my mum every now and then, and that's when I figured out there was a God. And but I didn't get too interested in too deep into it. I was only pretty young. So well, from there I knew there was a God anyway. And then when I went to boarding school, it was a Christian boarding school, carried it on a bit, but I still didn't fully understand Christianity. That's when my life started with gangs and all this. So I was a gang member for a few years, just growing up around it. That was my role models as a young kid. I had no one to hang out with except all the gangsters. And used to get chucked in windows to open the doors and taken up to get drunk. And so when I got kicked out of boarding school, Flaxmere is a pretty nasty place. So first few weeks in Flaxmere, I just got a few hidings and got my clothes taken off me and all that. And then I met a couple of guys and started hanging out with them, and we just started our own crew, just for protection. It started, that's what it was for, just to protect ourselves. And then we started getting more members, and you just turned out like the rest of the idiots. It was a roller coaster ride for me. We've done everything. Just about died. 2006, I got stabbed in the chest, and I was lying there dying, and I just told God that if I survived, then I'll do His work for Him. And I survived and resumed my life in gangs for about a year or two. Well, since I knew there was a God, just from my experiences when I was young and all of this. And I was always, I was constantly thinking about it. But something, I couldn't understand Christianity. It's just confusing. How can Jesus be a God, a son of God, and a prophet all at the same time? And all the rest of the prophets They were only prophets, they all had miracles and all of this. So I just had too many questions that Christianity couldn't answer. And when I met Brother Ishak, and at first I didn't even really want to talk about it, but he brought it up, and I just started asking him, isn't Jesus the Son of God? And he said no, he was only a prophet. And I asked him, how's that? And then he explained it all to me, and it just made sense straight away. He answered all the questions that I had, and I just knew that Islam was the proper religion of the prophets. Yeah, the change in the lifestyle, the transformation from what I was before and who I was and what I was doing before. I don't know, different people, some people find it hard, some people find it easy. Myself, I found it quite easy. Yes, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a materialistic person, so it's quite easy for me to just give up everything, give all my stuff away, whatever I didn't want, whatever I didn't need, didn't want to be it anymore, slept on the floor like the prophets. Yeah, just sacrifices, Once you learn about how the prophets lived and what they stood for, and you just, I don't know, you gain knowledge about the hereafter and the Almighty and this, and you're just ready to make sacrifices. I don't know, it's quite easy for me anyway. I'll do anything for Allah. All my family, I don't think they were too shocked because of what I was before. Off the gangs and all this, I was doing some stupid stuff, so I think they saw this as a change for the best for me. My sister was a Muslim before me, my older sister. She's been a Muslim for 7 years. But she didn't really practice because she had no one to help her. We haven't got that much family around. My aunties and uncles and all that, they saw it as a change for the best for me. My mother and my sister, my younger sister, came back from Australia and shifted into our house, and it took me about 3 weeks just dawahing, giving them dawah hard out, and then they converted. And 2 of my cousins as well. One of my cousins is very close to me, like one of my brothers. So it wasn't hard to just gave him hard out dawah too, and his sister. It's like a magnet with the religion. Yeah, my mates and my crew and that, they're pretty cheeky, but they know that I don't care. Yeah, because I was one of the ruthless ones. I'll do anything. They'll give me a baseball bat and tell me to run up to someone and baseball bat them, and I'll do it straight away. No questions asked. So they didn't want to get too cheeky. Didn't want to question me or anything. But a few of them did though. But I just gave them dawah, And alhamdulillah, a couple of them are quite interested now. A few of them have gone to jail, and the other ones, I don't even see anymore. I just shifted to the other side of town, where the mosque is, and take the Muslim brothers and sisters as my intimates instead of them. I'll still go and see them, do dawah to them. But if they're not prepared to accept Islam, then I'm not prepared to take them as intimates. What Islam can offer to just everyone else, any person, is a complete way of life, happiness, freedom, peace. And as Allah says in the Quran, it takes away your fear. You've got to die one day. You're going to meet your Maker. So, as a Muslim, you're constantly striving to make Allah happy for the day you meet Him, because you don't want to meet Him on the wrong foot. So you would just try and keep ourselves clean and pure, and just know that you're going to die one day anyway. That was one of my biggest fears, was dying as a sinner. And yeah, Islam can offer, basically everything that you want. Whatever you can think of, it can offer better than that. It can make you happier than you ever thought. It can give you more peace than you ever thought existed. Peace of mind, a peaceful environment.
My name is Mary Cecilia Inoka. In Islam it's Maryam Aziza. And I'm New Zealand born, Cook Islander and white Australian. I've had 6 children and 4 grandchildren. And I live in Hastings, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. I was raised in a Catholic family. I think the father's side is Presbyterian. I was sort of on the streets at 12. It was safer for me than at home. Most of my family don't know this. There I took to drinking because I just couldn't find God anywhere, and all the places where people were drinking was where I ended up. And so I was asking all these people, where's God, where's God? And I remember they always used to start talking about Him. They're all drunk but talking about God, and still I didn't find God. So I just kept on drinking and trying to. I knew I always wanted to follow God. I always had a love for the Arabic clothing and all these things. I just had a love for them, I don't know why. But God has always been there somewhere. This may be haram, but I've experienced a lot of spiritual things as well. But learning in Islam, I'm willing to put all those things aside, things in my culture that doesn't belong. I'm just so willing. I'm like Aziz. I just want to. My life is belonging to God. While I was on the streets, until now, I've mostly grown up with Māori people, which in our history we are actually their elders. Not, I don't know, inner peace, safety. I just had to have the search for God, and it wasn't forthcoming then. When my kids were children, I looked at all my life, all the things around. What everyone offers out there now is drugs and alcohol and all these filthy things. And I wanted my kids to have another option, so I took up with the Baptist church. More for them than me, because I know I'm already sinful in those things. And it also helped me a wee bit anyway. But then negative things in there, so we just all started drinking and everything again. Most of the time I've been just about 26 years solo mum, things like this. So, like Aziz, for example, has never had a father figure. He's only had me. I have to be mum and dad. And I've tried to do the best I can, especially for the boys, because, you know, boys are important. Whether in Islam or not, to me, a boy is important, a man's important, because they are the head of the house. And it's just something I've always believed. But I don't believe abuse belongs in a life. So those are things I've been struggling with myself. And I find it, in Islam, it's really easy for me to live the life I believe, because there's no abuse in it, you know. It's a stricter religion than Christianity, and that's what people need these days, because they're just running wild out there, you know. The kids are suffering, kids have got no dads, dads are suffering, everybody's suffering, because they've followed the structure given from Allah. And those are just all the things I've grown up believing myself personally, to get myself through life. My older daughter took up Islam, and I started thinking about my grandchildren that I barely had then. She was just starting to be pregnant. And what kind of life I wanted for my grandchildren, and the grandchildren's parents, and all these things. What do I want in my life? How do I want my future and their future to be? And I thought, no, I'm too sinful, I don't want to go to Islam, nothing. No church, nothing. I'm quite happy, have a couple of drinks, have a good sleep, you know, wake up in the morning, but what about all these other things? Where's my family going to be? And this is at an older age, you know, I'm an adult now. And I came back from Australia in Carlos. It wasn't actually his tawa that turned me. It was watching what he's doing and how he speaks. And he's my strength to follow Allah. Sorry, it's proud. I'm proud of Carlos. Islam is an awesome change for my kids. And I decided all my kids are together with Allah, and I want to be in JANNAH with them all. And I'll give up my life, everything now, to do that. The culture, it may be a good thing in our lives sometimes, but after all, it's not Allah, you know. You can't take all these things to JANNAH, you know. What do you want? Those things out there, self-satisfaction, only Allah's going to give that to you. I know, because I've been in most things in this world, except the only thing I haven't experienced is war. I've experienced bad things. And my only answer is, the peace is in Allah. The life is in Allah. My kids' lives in Allah. My family has reacted to my change. For example, my mum, she is devout Catholic. I've only come to know her as a mother in the past 7 years or so. Her attitude is, you can be anything you like, but don't tell me. You know, she says there's only one God, but it's in the Catholic system. All I can do is keep loving my mother. One sister is drinking and drugs, everything. And she's been really hard, but she's good, she helps. But anything else she doesn't want to know. She tells me, please don't wear hijab, nothing when you're going to work. I decided, I follow Allah, this is what I like to do, so forget everyone else, I don't care if they get angry or whatever. And nobody gets angry at me. I just wear it and go. So that's good. Everyone else, I'm just normally me. They ask me, am I Muslim? I say yes, and they ask me a few more questions. Why? What do you do? All these things, and I just tell them straight. And I tell them I'm quite happy, and if they want to find out more, I tell them, please come to the mosque, you're welcome. Islam for society, for people, whether they got their cultures, whatever. I just say everything out there is rubbish. I've done it all, I've been there. It's just rubbish, rubbish, it's a dead end. And what are you going to do when you die? Jump in your bottle? You know? The only hope is Allah. Give those filthy, horrible things away, those dangerous things. If not for yourself, give it for your kids. They're important. Give it for your husband, give it for your wife, your brothers and sisters. That's what matters, not material things, not drinking, smoking. That's just rubbish. I think you learn to respect other people more. You learn to respect yourself. You learn what a real family is. You learn who's the boss and who's not. I'm talking of Allah as the boss. He's the head. There's rules for proper diets, looking after your health. There's everything. It's all good. There actually is something else I would like to add is I'm 54. I'm very sick at the moment. I have 6 children, nearly 5 grandchildren. No money, I'm broke as anything. So for you people at my time of life, you know, what have you got left anyway? What are you fighting for? Why are you making yourself suffer? Turn to Allah. Find your peace. And forget about yourself. There's your kids, your grandchildren. There's their children. And there's Jannah at the end. InshaAllah.